Hello student, I am Assistant Professor Yeshwan Bora from Azure School of Law, and today we'll be discussing about the second part of the definition of CRPC. And if you remember, and if you have seen my previous video, you have seen the definitions of cognizable, non-cognizable, bailable, non-bailable offences have been discussed in our previous lecture, and now we'll be discussing the further definitions of CRPC. Now, section 2 subclause B of CRPC talks about the definition of charge. It says that specific accusation of an offense, and it includes any head of charge when it comes more. It means that when a person is like has committed more than one offense, or he is uh, more than one offense is applicable, more than one sections of IPC is applicable on that particular person, then in that case the person, the charge, they can be more than one charge. Now, who will frame the charge? It is always the question whether the police authorities or the investigation will frame the charge, or whether the court will frame the charge. So the answer is it is the duty of the court to frame the charge, and after the person is after the person is brought to the court, here the charge will be what do you say stated to him, and then he'll be asked whether he is guilty of that particular crime or not. No, see, then see, a charge is framed when prima facie case is made against the accused. Uh, Now, suppose accused, there is an apprehension, or there is an and after the investigation, you can say it has been proved through the investigation that the accused has committed this particular offense according to the investigation. Then in that case, court will prima facie frame the charges. Okay, it will be regarding to the charges will be regarding to the offense which the accused has committed. Now, moving further, once charge sheet is filed by the police, then magistrate will fix the date of hearing on charge, and on that day assistant public prosecutor or advocate for the complainant and the defense counsel will argue the matter whether the charge is uh, framed is right or not. And after that, APP, assistant public prosecutor, will submit the matter by which he will support the frame of charge, whereas the defense counsel, in the case if there is no prima facie case, argue not to frame a charge and discharge the accused. So you'll see that after charge sheet has been filed, the accused, the APP and the defense counsel will come, and sorry, they will discuss about the charge, and APP will submit the matter which he will support to frame the charge. The charge should be framed for the accused, whereas the defense counsel, in the case like if there is a prima facie, there is no case against the defense, then in that case defense counsel will argue, and it will request the court, he will request the court not to frame the charge and discharge the accused. Okay, for example, uh, kidnap of a girl, the girl says that she went along with the boy to marry, there is no kidnap. As in, you all must have heard uh, so many news regarding the love marriages and regarding the kidnappings also, in that the couple goes, and sometimes after that, it's I'm talking about the reality. Sometimes when the girls come to the house, his parents file the case and against the boy that the girl has been kidnapped, okay, by the boy. And after that, police get investigation, police takes the boy, and if the girl says that no, she went along with him, it was her consent, and in that case the person cannot be held liable for the kidnapping. And if in case girls denies that no, he kidnapped me, then in that case person is liable for the offense of kidnapping. So moving further, uh, in all trial, accused must be informed regarding all his charges. Okay, and in trial of warrant cases, it has to be in writing. The charges have to be in writing. In the case of summons, it is enough that the substance of accusation is stated to the accused and the purpose of framing charge to fully acquaint the accused of the matter which he is discharged. Now moving to a second definition, that is investigation. Investigation is defined under section 2 subclause H of CRPC. It says that all proceedings for the collection of evidence conducted by a police officer or any person who is authorized by the magistrate. Now that is termed as an investigation. So you'll see that investigation can be done by police officer also, and it can be done by any person who is authorized by the magistrate. So you will see that sometimes in some cases, magistrate appoints the experts and the experts solve the cases. Okay, in that particular case, the any person word can come into the picture. Now, process of investigation, it includes search for material and facts, arrest, again medical examination of the arrested person, and medical examination of the victim also, and again a search of some place. So all these processes, you can say all these acts will be included in the definition of investigation. Now moving further, you see the case in case of Rishput versus State of Delhi versus State of Delhi, 1955 AIR Supreme Court 196, it is held that the investigation includes proceedings on the spot, ascertaining all the facts and the circumstances of the case, and discovery and arrest of a suspected offenders. So, in this case, it has been held that investigation will include proceedings on the spot, ascertaining all the facts and circumstances of the case, and discovery of the arrest and of the suspected person. Now, moving further, you see the definition of police report. Police report is defined under section 2 subclause R. It says that a report forwarded by the police officer to a magistrate as soon as investigation is completed. Now the police officer shall forward a report in the prescribed form by the state government. Okay, so you will see that the form which is the report, in which form the report will be submitted to the magistrate, it has been mentioned by the state government. And again, after completion of the investigation, when the police has completed its investigation, they have to submit the report. Okay sir, this is the report. Okay, after the investigation and police has found this things in the investigation, so what will be the performer? First, it is the name of the party. Second, the nature of the information. Third, name of the person who appeared to be acquainted with the circumstances of the case. Now you see that the nature of information, like what is the nature of information that police like how the police has got, and what is the nature, its nature. So it is police has to define, or it has to state the nature of the information, and again it has to state the name of the persons who appeared to be acquainted with the circumstances of the case. Now the whoever the person who is acquainted with the circumstances of the case, now their name also has to be mentioned. Now moving further, you see about the police report, that if the report alleges commission of a crime by an accused, the report will is commonly called as charge sheet or challan. So if the report is positive and it alleges that the accused has committed the crime, then the report will be termed as charge sheet or challan. And if in case it is mentioned that the accused has not committed the crime, or accused is not into the commission of crime, then it will be termed as the final report. So you must have got the report, police report. It has been filed by the police in the after the investigation before the court, before the magistrate. Okay, and what police investigation, what police report will include, it will include the performer, it will follow the performer which is mentioned or which is stated by the state government. Okay, and again, if the report alleges the commission of the crime, then the report will be called as the charge sheet or challan. And if in case it is not alleges the crime of the by the accused person, then the report will be termed as final report, that is popularly known as FR. Now moving to further slide, further definition, that is summons case. Section 2 subclause W talks about the summon case. It says that summon case is not a warrant case, and the offense punishable with imprisonment for a term for a term not exceeding 2 years will be termed as a summons case, and the classification is useful to determine this type of trial procedure to be adopted, and the summons shall be issued to the accused. Now in this case, summons shall be issued to the accused, and all the cases which are having imprisonment for less than 2 years will be termed as summons case. So I assume, sorry, so I presume that you all have got the definitions of CRPC. Now from the next lecture, we'll be starting or we'll be discussing about the constitution of the code. So I request all the students to please be keep reading the Bear Act and keep referring the Bear Acts and the reference book. And if in case you have any kind of questions or any kind of queries, you can post down in the comment box, and your query will be resolved as soon as possible. And again, keep studying, and don't like after finishing this lecture, if you don't understand, see it again, refer the Bear Act, refer the reference book, so that you can understand the provisions in a better way and in a clear way. Okay, once you will understand the provision, then I'm sure that you will be able to remember it or remind it in whole your like rest of your life. So now I'll take your leave, and take care of yourself, and see you in the next lecture. Thank you.